Run your day with Runday.ai.
Lawrence, hello. Happy Tuesday. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, Sanjay. How are you?
Good. We were supposed to do this in person, but I guess you're still up there, huh?
Yeah, it was too much travel back to back to back. I had to cut it off after the second one.
Well, tell me more about Door 3 and how you're serving your customers.
Well, how we're serving our customers. So Door3 is a technology consulting firm. Typically, they've focused over the last 23 years with a focus on design, heavy focus on design, UX, UI. There's been a massive shift over the last 2, 3 years, as I'm sure you can imagine,
Yeah, I was
towards
about to say,
AI.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but there is still a very big focus on design. So I would say, from an AI perspective, if you're trying to incorporate AI into the front end of your application, we're probably the leading firm in New York to do it. Same thing with design systems. If you're looking at design systems or you're looking at front end UX UI work, that really should be us. As far as like back end, how do you improve your manufacturing process with artificial intelligence? Like that's not really us. It's more implementing on the front end and usability, right? So a lot of front end applications. I don't really want to say websites, even though we do some websites, but it's really more at the application layer or the intranet, extranet type of stuff. But it's really front end, a lot of product development.
Where do you
So in
see that?
fact, it's
Where do you see
mostly
that
product.
moving forward? We have our own concept called Web 4.0, where we think that a website really looks like an answer engine now, where you have it's a pretty version of a like looks like ChatGPT or Grok, but it has more branding, custom fonts, all that kind of stuff, but a lot less content than there used to be. And then things are moving toward like MCP servers. Like I just saw Higgsfield put up a MCP server where you can use it from inside Claude or from inside Manus now. And so I think where this will go, and this is my theory, is smart glasses where, if I want to do something like, hey, I want to get my dog groomed, that local, ecosystem of dog groomers has an MCP server somewhere. My glasses can find it and figure out which groomer I can go to when I want to go there. And so to me, the future is really about those types of use cases that are visual only when it matters, but not when it has to be functional. The functional stuff will go through your answer engines, which whether it looks like a Grok, like on my browser, or a Manus on my Meta headset.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think there's a big space in the middle too. That's going to kind of get us from one to the other.
What's that look like?
The space in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, so, we are doing a good amount of this now. I would say, like I mentioned before, we're probably one of the more forward thinkers as far as implementing AI on the front end. Where you said is it hardcore visual, where maybe a website is like, okay, I'm getting all this information in a chat box. We kind of jokingly call that like the MS DOS, but we're at the MS DOS
Hmm.
part of AI right now. Like that's kind of where we are now. Like you're still at the command line. Door 3 is really taking a much more intuitive approach, especially on things like product design and product development. Take something like a big enterprise system that you need your employees, thousands or tens of thousands of them to stay engaged. So maybe like an ERP system for like, whatever, enter Fortune 100 name here. What that probably looks like where 10,000 people have to log in. If I log into that, why do I need to see all the visual context that everybody always sees and then find my path? The system should intuitively know what I usually do on that system or what people in my position usually need and present me with a UX UI or present me with options that are more tailored to me. So reduce that amount of visualization. And that's kind of in the direction of what you're saying, just give me what I want right away. I don't even
Yeah.
really need to see stuff, right? So that middle step, you're saying, what's that look like? It kind of looks like a dynamically synthesized presentation that's reduced to be
Okay.
very efficient for you, rather than you having a command line to get to it, or rather than you having it just presented to you, there's this
So
sort
then
of
the
middle step.
command line, does that come later? Do I experience this visual thing, and then when I'm ready to ask my question, is that when I get that
Yeah.
interface?
Yeah, typically the way we've designed that right now over the last year or two is you still have the little button on the bottom that's, trying to make it work with the camera. You know, you have that little button on the bottom here. That's like the chat window. You can press it and pop up the command line. You could still talk to it natural language if you want. But for the most part, the system is able to guess the general direction of where you want it.
And if the audience wants to work with you on creating these types of experiences or elevating experiences that are, performing in the experiential age we're in now, but we'll need to work differently in this age of AI, what's the best way to work with you? Should they contact you on LinkedIn, or do you contact us on your website?
I'm very active on LinkedIn. Feel free, reaching out to me on LinkedIn is fine. Clicking contact us on the website is also perfectly fine. You can mention that you saw us here on Sanjay's podcast, and we'll make sure that your needs are taken care of.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sanjay.